Okay. Let's just kind of wait until we're set. I think we're live in just a bit. All right. Welcome to the Wrestling Pod. I'm your host, Carlito Santiago, and today we are here to talk about what went down on the Elimination Chamber. So, if you guys could do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, comment down below, and turn on those post notifications so you never miss a stream. Well, Elimination Chamber. It had a lot of things going on. So, let's start with the very particular match. We, of course, saw the Eradicator punching her ticket to WrestleMania 42 following a grueling victory in a physical elimination chamber match to kick off Saturday's show. Rhea Ripley outlasted the likes of Tiffany Stratton, Raquel Rodriguez, Asuka, Kiana James, and Alexa Bliss, with Raquel Rodriguez being the MVP of this match, of course. She shined through all of this. Stratton and James started the match, but it was Bliss who shone in the night's first big spot, delivering Twisted Bliss from the top of the pods. Her WrestleMania dreams were dashed when the Empress of Tomorrow blinded her with the blue mist, allowing James to score the first elimination of the bout. Ripley and Rodriguez starred upon their rivals, with the latter obliterating the competition, both pinning James and Asuka to send them packing. So yes, Raquel stacked up both Asuka and Kiana James in this, which I thought was cool. It was like, damn, we're going to get two, one for two? Damn. A 1-2 punch of Mommy and Tiffany, though, allowed the babyfaces to eliminate Big Mommy Cool. From there, Ripley outlasted the battered Stratton, sending her face first into a pod, and then delivering the Riptide to secure the victory. So we are going to get, and I should pop up the notes here. Should have done that before we, So, now that we can confirm, is it ain't going to be Jade and Alexa Bliss. No. It is going to be Jade and Rhea Ripley. And it ain't going to be Cody and Drew for the championship. So, we'll get to that in a bit too. But, yes, of course. This was a strong performance and graded a B. Honestly, everything that went down here was great. The cameras caught WWE Champion Jade Cargill, Women's Champion Jade Cargill, watching from a suite, but did not revisit her during the match when she should have been basking in the punishment of her potential opponents we're dealing with. I really read that wrong. But anyway, what came next was our Women's Intercontinental Championship, AJ Lee versing Becky Lynch. AJ Lee has become now the new Women's Intercontinental Champion after defeating Becky Lynch in a dramatic contest that involved referee bumps, a steel chair, and an exposed turnbuckle. See, Lee out-wrestled Lynch early on, frustrating the champion. The heel recovered and went on to dominate much of the match, but her inability to keep the challenger down bred frustration. She removed a turnbuckle pad, and Jessica Carr collided with it. Later, Carr caught a kick from Lynch, taking her further out of the picture for the moment. The heel utilized a chair to her advantage, but still failed to keep Lee down. Moments later, Lee sent Lynch into an exposed turnbuckle and applied the Black Widow for the submission win. Graded a C+, and I gotta be honest, there was a little bit of an overbooking here in this bit, you know? I think Jessica Carr getting taken out, was fine until you start to implement the steel chair, and then even Jessica Carr taking a more further bump to this, and then, even Lynch utilizing the chair for nothing, still failed to keep Lee down. You see, by that point, it was like, what the fuck else are you going to be able to do? That was more of get her up, try to hit her for the manhandle slam, didn't work, threw her into the exposed turnbuckle, and then boom, applied the Black Widow. I felt a little overbooked there, but it wasn't bad. So, C+. Next was our World Heavyweight Championship match, which of course CM Punk made a great entrance, you guys. You guys probably didn't know this, but CM Punk came out to, of course, the Chicago Bulls entrance from way, way, way back then when Jordan, of course, was there. See, Punk right here played the entrance of the Chicago Bulls series by the Alan Parsons Project, which is an iconic and fitting athlete, with a C. I think, too, he used this at one point in Ring of Honor as his entrance when they did go to Chicago. I could be mistaken. I think Punk used this at one point during his indie run in Chicago. I might need some clarification on that. Let me know in the comments down below. Balor looked like a main event threat here, a guy who was vastly superior to Punk for the most of the match. Despite a crowd that knew he was not winning, the Prince looked like the champion's equal and nearly beat him once, more than once. So check this out. CM Punk, the Second City Saint overcame a focused, determined challenger who was, for much of the match, the better man. The Irishman out-wrestled Punk, dominated the action, and looked like he may well disrupt the main event of the biggest show of the year. A late match attempt at the coup de grace failed as the champion countered into a sharpshooter, and I thought that was a cool reversal. I thought that was really cool for a reversal from, Punk. Not even a drop kick, though. The barricade at ringside later could keep Punk down. As the action remained in the squared circle, the best in the world proved his moniker correct, delivering a go-to-sleep and cashing his ticket to the main event of the Showcase of the Immortals for the second year in a row. Punk retains the title, and he's not ruining this main event. And of course, in a strong little suited fashion, Punk and Lee celebrated while both holding championships in Chicago. So that was pretty nice to see as well. Also, Punk is going to be, talking to Roman Reigns when they head to Indianapolis this Monday on Raw. But yeah, looking at everything that's happened so far, it seems like a pretty average show. Now, where does everybody else land? Well, with Rhea Ripley winning, the moment they took the titles off of Ripley, it was kind of an indicator of we're changing up the plans. I think Tiffany was originally supposed to win this bout, but then they changed up the plans and were like, well, do we really run this back or do we, go with something different? And I think going with something different was the right choice. Having Rhea Ripley win was pretty iconic, in their regards. So now you give Jade Cargill a better suited opponent, opposed to someone predictable as Charlotte or Tiffany Stratton. We give it to Rhea Ripley, and now we get a compelling story. That's not going to main event a show, but we'll do something. WrestleMania is looking pretty fucking hot so far. There's still time to change this, and I think it's pretty clear that we can now make AJ Lee change this up real quick. It most likely will be AJ Lee versus Becky for the championship. And now with this, I'm probably going to get this wrong. Because that's what they're calling themselves, the Irresistible Forces. Irresistible Forces. I think. Okay. Anyway. Oh. Anyway, still going through with this. We get to our main event. We get to a very surprising reveal. A very nice, very evil surprise. After weeks of speculation, the contents of the mystery crate was revealed as it to be Danhausen, making his WWE debut just 24 hours after his time in All Elite Wrestling came to an end. This very nice, very evil painted face superstar made his way to the ring, flanked by female companions donning the same look. He handed Michael Cole a jar of teeth and cursed the WWE Universe and disappeared into darkness. I found this to be fucking hilarious. Ugh. I found this to be fucking hilarious. If you guys didn't find this at all any way possible hilarious, I don't know. It was just hilarious. Thinking that it might be a superstar to change the box, And it was literally just 24 hours after we found out that Danhausen was, you know, gone from AEW. Like, and I think the moment you noticed the coffin, it was like, wait a minute, what the fuck? A coffin? And then, of course, you had Nick Aldis and Rick, and they were just like, man, fuck this shit. I'm not dealing with this. Both of them weren't dealing with this. But yeah, I don't know. This would have been a perfect opportunity to allow Danhausen to get on the mic and give fans a taste of what his whole character's about. Not everyone knows him, and considering he has been off of television in any meaningful role for years, it would have been the exclamation point of the segment. To get a better understanding of Danhausen himself, he's not really much of a wrestling he is a wrestling superstar. It's just his character and gimmick is more, to me, for comedic purposes. It's more of just like, being cursed and bad things happening to you. Maybe it might not happen now, but it will happen eventually. And this actually gives WWE a chance to utilize that gimmick. Maybe it goes around in NXT or Raw or SmackDown. It's something unique, but just, and also when you hear you are cursed, like, the amount of AEW superstars who have been in WWE after coming back from AEW is crazy. Rusev, fucking Jade Cargill, Ricky Starks, All Ego Ethan Page, Danhausen, Royce Keys, or Powerhouse Hobbs. It's really interesting to see this. And again, there's a podcast, you guys know, Chris Van Vliet. He does an interview with Danhausen. So I would go watch that, and I'd go watch some funny compilations of Danhausen from his time in AEW and his time from the Indies, if you're not familiar with him. But after this, we got our men's Elimination Chamber match, which was not going to have any shenanigans. Well, till I read it to you. Randy Orton will be heading to WrestleMania to face Drew McIntyre, or so we think, because remember how I mentioned that possibility of there being that possibility of there being a multi-man match, so more likely a fatal four-way. Well, WWE could be doing the same thing. Let me just... Okay. Again, there's more matches to be made later down the line. So I just want to, get ahead of it eventually. We don't know exactly where all these land up, but we do know that these 4 matches are made official. And it's crazy to see, like, all of this, be here. But anyway, there is probably going to be a multi-man match for the WWE title. Like, Cody and Jacob might get through. But anyway, the Viper outlasted Cody Rhodes, Logan Paul, Trick Williams, LA Knight, and Javon Evans, with a little help from the Scottish Warrior and the return of Seth fucking Rollins along the way. Evans was the first superstar to be sent packing when his addiction to the thrill proved costly, resulting in the elimination courteous of the Maverick. It was not Paul's last of the night, though, as he dispatched Trick Williams and LA Knight, building momentum for a mid-match angle where a man in black appeared, only to be unmasked and whisked away by security, and Adam Pearce brutally assaulting him. Like, get him the hell out of here! While the chamber doors were open and they were trying to remove Williams, another hooded man entered the squared circle and delivered a stomp to Logan Paul to set up his departure. So, to explain this match, is Bronson Reed was supposed to be the last man to do this. So if you noticed, right, they stomped Austin Theory. Then they stomped Logan Paul at the commentary desk. Now it was Bronson Reed's turn. Bronson Reed was going to fucking make his way into the ring. Bronson Reed was probably going to get the Logan Paul dominance that you saw here. So Bronson Reed was going to eliminate LA Knight. Bronson Reed was going to eliminate Williams. Bronson Reed was going to eliminate fucking you know? Or LA Knight was supposed to eliminate Bronson Reed, and then Rollins comes in. Like, the whole point of this was to get Rollins to curb stomp Bronson Reed and take him out of the match, because the original scheduled match for WrestleMania was supposed to be Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins. Instead, we got to changing everything up. Maybe even Braun Breaker was supposed to be in this match. We don't know. But it was supposed to be a setup for what would be Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins. Braun Breaker suffered a hernia, so now it was time for Bronson Reed. It was probably going to be Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins. So now we have fucking this happen, right? Everybody's injured. And Bronson Reed also had surgery the day of the Elimination Chamber. So McIntyre would enter the fray after Rollins would leave through the crowd, with the crowd, of course, singing along. He would tee off on Rhodes, and Rhodes, of course, would counter and drop the Scottish Warrior with, of course, Orton would hit McIntyre with an RKO, only for Rhodes to then provide a crossroads, only for the Legend Killer to drop his friend and protege with an RKO to win the match and earn the title opportunity at WrestleMania, and announced by Nick Aldis that Cody Rhodes will face McIntyre on Friday for the WWE Championship, even after having a contract agreement that stated that Rhodes would never get to face McIntyre as long as he was champion. So now Aldis has to announce Rhodes to face McIntyre, so it most likely would be Cody Rhodes facing McIntyre, only for the match to get ruined by Jacob Fatu, for then this to lead to a bunch of other bullshit. I thought this ending was also all the way overbooked. McIntyre did not have to get into this match. All you needed to do was that last setup without McIntyre, with Williams getting taken out. Now you have fucking them and all there. You have everybody shocked that Rollins is here. Rhodes is distracted. Orton hits an RKO. Like, McIntyre could have even provided a distraction, and still, this wouldn't have felt, it still felt overbooked, having a masked man show up, having Rollins then show up, having then McIntyre show up. Fucking Wade Barrett said it best. Says it right here. Where is it? What a mess the ending of the Elimination Chamber match was. Barrett sending a commentary, having a shoot comment, even though it's not supposed to be meant as a shoot comment. But I digress. Grade a B-, and it will stick that way. So, no changes on the grades. I think everything was settled. But what was the overall grade? Well, the Elimination Chamber had a mixed bag for the WWE fans, and it is becoming the trend with the company's premium live events. On one hand, the production was great. The show looked like $1 million and felt like a big deal. The commentary was also on point for most of the show. The women stole the show once again with their Elimination Chamber match, easily eclipsing the men's. Add to the crowd pleaser in the form of AJ Lee winning the IC Championship, the Women's IC Championship, and you have a quality start to the PLE. CM Punk defeating Finn Balor in a strong match added the event's earlier quality, but that was where the positives end. It is so clear that WWE has no idea what to do with the WWE SmackDown brand's title match at WrestleMania, that it is likely to be thrown a handful of guys into one contest rather than write a competent story arc for any of them. Whereas Triple H thrived earlier as a booker by intertwining storylines and matches and angles, he appears to have lost his way. End result was again a jumbled mess. Yes. Again, you look at the Elimination Chamber match in the men's, and it looks like a mess. Like, it's over fucking booked, dude. Why are you overbooking shit like this? All it needed to be a simple fucking thing. I mean, I agreed. You needed to have Rollins come back and take out Bronson Reed or take out Logan Paul, right? Simple as that. But then to have McIntyre get in the cage and fucking, it's just, oh my god. Like, Jesus Christ, dude. Evans' elimination felt somewhat lackluster as a big frog splash off the top of the pot of Williams. Still, the commentary team covered it well, noting its overzealous nature costing him. Like, what? Now, of course, LA Knight slipped from there, looking like an ugly miss. He was supposed to do a little, jump from the top rope. We saw that. Wasn't supposed to happen. So, But yeah, this fucking... the good outweighed the bad, though, and we at least had some direction for WrestleMania card, but it remains difficult to get excited about the upcoming Showcase of the Immortals as it stands, with how everything looks. I mean, I'm excited with Punk and Roman, Stephanie Fakir and Liv Morgan, Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley, but Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton? this is just going right back to fucking 20. Yeah, it's going right back to 2020. Overall show, I'll B minus, and I think that's well deserved. But what did you guys think of the Elimination Chamber? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and drop a like. And turn on those post notifications so you never miss a stream. I will be back on Tuesday to give you the Raw review. And I'll be back on Saturday to give you the SmackDown summary of everything that goes on after the Elimination Chamber. So WWE's got to follow up pretty fucking good with this. Okay? And then, of course, from now, guys, we are 7 weeks out. We are... Ooh, get the hell off my screen. We are 7 weeks away from WrestleMania. What do they do? What do they build? Do I get any of this card right? Well, I don't know. But what I do know is that this is my thoughts for the WrestleMania 42 card. And there could be more added. But yeah, this is what as it stands for right now. Might as well just figure this out more. Yeah. This is what it stands as right now. You guys can see in big letters. This is what I think it's going to be. Maybe I should shrink it just a bit. Yeah, this is what I think it's going to be. I think all these matches here, like, add a little more, you know. And we still have to wait until we see others. But, yeah, get added. And hopefully so they get added. But as far as I'm concerned right now, these are the 4 main matches for WrestleMania. And as for what I'm thinking, Punk and Roman will probably be the Sunday main event. Because that's big. That's a big blockbuster fucking match. Stephanie Vakir and Liv Morgan should be the main event of WrestleMania Night 1. Cody and Drew should open up WrestleMania. Cody and Drew should open up WrestleMania Night 1. And Rhea Ripley and Jade Cargill should open up WrestleMania Night 2. I think that fits perfectly with how they, open up with the World Championships. But again, that's up to them. Whatever they want to do. Fine by me. But until then, I will see you guys. I'm going to see you guys. Peace.